Hey there, everyone. It is another magical day, and today we are making memories in a whole new way. I've got two of my friends joining me, and we're talking about making memories as a family or just going with friends on vacation, whether it's at Disney or anywhere else. Shelley, Kristi, thank you so much for being here. For those who don't know, Shelley and Kristi are sisters, and they've been going to Disney for a long time. Shelley, you want to start us off? Some positive thoughts you have about Disney. Tell us more about what makes it special to you or special vacation memories. We want to hear all about it.
Oh boy, that's a long one. It probably started with my grandparents. They took us when we were young. I probably went one time with them, but Chrissy's has a whole bunch more memories. But the one thing I'll never forget was Grandma always saying that they never had a reservation when they went. And they always drove into the Polynesian and had a room. They never had a reservation.
Can't do that nowadays.
No, you can't. No. And they also did that at the Contemporary, and it was amazing. We just said Grandpa always had the best luck. I mean, he could go anywhere, and Disney was not an exception. And never had a reservation and always had a room. And I guess Disney probably started that with me, with my grandparents. And then probably when I was 6, I went with my parents and my aunt and uncle. And then from there, it's just been history. I've been going pretty much a year every year ever since. And then Kristi and I always go together if we have to. Anytime we go separate, it kind of feels weird because we're used to going together all the time.
We're going to talk about that for sure. See, that's the part that this is the story we want to hear for sure.
Yeah, it always feels weird when one of us is there without the other. But yeah, that's where it started with us, with our grandparents, and it's just continued throughout with our families and our cousins.
And I love it. And Kristi, is there a specific thought you can think of when you're thinking of your grandfather and going all these years ago? And I know it was a long, long time ago, and there are a lot of positives tied to it. Besides the actual, because the concept of going to a resort and I'm just going to go to Poly. It's like, you got a room? Oh, sure. Yeah. That is just foreign to me. Like, I'm just like, exactly. I'm sorry, what? How many months in advance did you make that reservation? Oh, none? Okay. That is foreign to me. But when it comes to these memories, and we're thinking about these core memories from Inside Out as an example, what's one of them that you think about your grandfather and Disney about?
Yeah, to piggyback off of what Shelley said, I went with my cousin, who's my older cousin. And yeah, we stayed at the Contemporary, just what she said. He never had a reservation for anything. Pulls up, oh, hey, they've got rooms available. And yeah, I remember going and just being like, oh my word, this is the most amazing place I've been. And my cousin and I, we still talk about this today, how we ate, for whatever reason, we wanted to eat spaghetti at every meal that we ate. So that at the Contemporary of all places. So yeah, but it was, they made it wonderful. So
that's awesome. I love it. They made something custom for you. Did they know you were coming? They'd be like, oh, here's Kristi. We're going to start making that spaghetti now. Oh, God.
Spaghetti ready.
I can imagine. I love it. Now, for a long time, you guys have been traveling as sisters, as you mentioned. And I go with my brother all the time. We love traveling together. And I think that's a big part of it because you're adults going to Disney. For some people, it's like, oh, wait, does that really make sense? Like, wait, where's the kids and all that? I'm sure you guys have heard that before. What's the first thought when someone says to you, wait, you're going to Disney again? Or you're going without kids? Is it still fun for you? Do you just go on rides? Like, how's that work? What do you think?
It happens to me all the time. And especially with my employees at work. They can't believe I'm going to Disney again. And I just pop right back to them and go, well, you're going hunting again, aren't you?
Oh, no. You throw it right back at them.
So, everybody has their own hobbies. Mm-hmm. Ours happens to be Disney. We love to go. It never gets old. There's always something to do. And even if you love it, you're going to repeat it no matter what. Whether you're in the parks, whether you're in the resorts, whether you're just at Disney Springs. It's always fun and it never gets old for me.
100%. Chris, do you hear that a lot too from your
I get the opposite. Mine is, so when are you going to Disney again? Oh, you just got back. When are you going? When are you going? When are you cruising? Yeah.
That is awesome. I love it. Now, you guys have gone with kids before, like your younger ones around and going together. Does that have a different memory for you? Because my thought is when you're I recently went with some extended family to Disney, and it completely changes the game for me because it's been so long since I've been to Disney with kids. And for me, it just completely changed how I experienced it. Any follow-up thoughts on how this experience is different? Like, how can you actually verbalize the adult experience versus the with family experience?
You do. You have to be patient and you have to make adjustments. You can't have a schedule. You just have to go with the flow. Example of September. It was September, right, Kristi? September when we went with Trey?
Yes.
September we were there, and our cousins were with our other cousins in Tampa, and they just were able to come over for a day. Trey and his family have 4 kids under the age of 11.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And so you have to make adjustments and go with whatever they're in the mood for. It happened to be It's a Small World, Peter Pan, but the bigger kids wanted to ride Space Mountain and everything. So you just have to make adjustments and do what you can do. You can't say that, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, because they may not feel like it. They may be hungry. So you have to break away and go get a snack. You just have to, you enjoy the moment, because going with them was great because we've never been with them before. And so it was really fun to see them on It's a Small World. I think Kristi rode at Space Mountain with Dylan. So, it's a lot of fun when you go with kids. You have those special memories, and it's something we hope we can do again with them, because it was the first time we were able to do it with them.
Chris, do you have any thoughts on when you were on Space Mountain or with the kids and how that felt and how it was different from the adults only?
Yeah, I love it just because obviously it's our family and we love getting together with them, and seeing Disney through the kids' eyes is just really, really, really cool. And you're like, oh, wow, that's how I was when I was 6 or 7 or 9 or 10 or whatever. But I love having them because Shelley is more of a slow pace rider, which that's fine. And they'll ride anything. So I appreciate that. And so, we just make our own memories. So it's great.
I love it. And Shelley, I thought I was going to twist your arm to get on some of these extreme rides. You're saying even the cousins and the younger ones can't twist your arm to get on Rock and Roller Coaster?
If they can't do it, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to.
Oh, no. I had high hopes until I heard that. Now it's like there's no chance.
Yeah, if family can't do it, I'm not sure if anybody else can.
That's funny. All right. Well, it's different rides for everyone. It's a good way to go. Does that mean you're not going to try Tron either? It doesn't go upside down.
No, but it's still a roller coaster.
Okay.
I will be. She won't.
Chris to be one of the first in line, and Shelley just be waving at us from the ground.
Yeah, I'll just be watching from a distance. We're on the People Mover.
Yeah, well, see, there you go. That's gonna be a cool view when the People Mover is going and Tron is going, especially at night. I can't wait for that.
Right.
Do you think any thoughts on when you think it's gonna open? This is a big question. Tron.
That's a big question.
Not soon enough.
That's well said, Kristi. Well said.
I think it's gonna open this year sometime.
You do 2022.
I do. I'm thinking maybe fall of 2022.
Fall of 2022. Well,
but I know it needs to open fast because everybody wants to. It looks really cool, but I'm thinking it's going to open this year. Fingers crossed.
Kristi, think so too?
I think so. Hoping.
Fingers crossed. Well, at least Guardians of the Galaxy will be open before you know it, and that's another one that Kristi and I will be enjoying, and Shelley will just be having to hear about.
Like you, but probably not.
Oh, so close. We were so close.
Yeah. So close.
Oh, goodness. Now, I'm thinking about other experiences besides going to Disney when it comes to these other things that you do and going out as a family, spending holidays together, whatever it is. And you're thinking about those memories. Is it a huge difference that you feel between just spending time just with adults or with kids? Because that's really the thought that's been on my mind so much. Ever since I brought those extended family to Disney, we're all there together. It completely changed it. Not just when they were there with me, but after. My thought was, okay, next time they're here, I want to do these things with them. It was amazing how much that changed my perspective.
Right. Yeah, they were here for the holidays, and that was one of the first things that Cheyenne asked me. She said, "When can we go back to Disney with you guys?" So they are looking forward to it. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to happen. But, it makes you think, like when you go into Small World and you ride it, you're going, okay, well, I rode with them and they did, they said this and they said that, and they enjoyed this scene and that scene. So you really think about it differently after you go with kids.
Had they been without you guys before, like going to Disney, like without you?
I think so.
Okay.
I think they have. But Trey,
obviously. They don't have as much fun if they don't go with us.
That was my question, though. See, here's my follow-up question. You guys are like Disney experts, like a lot of us, and you enjoy it. You love it. You know all the small facts. You're able to tell people like, oh, this color is go away green, all that stuff that we all enjoy learning about. do they mention that, oh Mike, this was so much fun because we went with you, you knew how to get on which rides to go in which order? Did they mention that, or did you get that feeling from them?
Yeah, I do, especially with Dylan. He was he's the oldest, and then Cheyenne is right underneath him. And they do because I have a Magic Kingdom book on our table in the kitchen, in the kitchen.
Yeah, but I bet you don't need it, Shelley. You can just
walk
around the parks blind.
Yeah, and then they were, they go through it and they said, oh, well, we rode this back in, September, and, we did this and that, and talked about Peter Pan and how they saw everything. So they do remember it, and they're ready to go back for sure. So at least with their family, for sure.
I feel like it adds so much when you have someone who like, okay, this is the ride you want to go on now, like save this one for later because the line gets lower. I feel like that's just a huge dynamic for a lot of people. And some of those basic questions like, oh wait, how do I get this PhotoPass picture? It's like, that's another piece of the puzzle. So,
which is really important for us, are the PhotoPass pictures. I know we talk about Trey and Jamie, but the big one is Genie and her kids. Drew is 23 and Aiden will be 21 in February. And the first time we took them, Drew was
little in the stroller, little bitty.
5, and Aiden was 3.
Wow.
So that tells you how long that they've been going, and they live in Tampa.
Wow.
So it was, and they go with us all the time. They meet us when we're down there and go everywhere. And Aiden and Anna have come over and stayed with us for a few days and gone with us, and they remember that. And so those are the memories that you want to have when you go with family.
Picture is very important to those memories, I would gather.
Very important.
Okay.
We have all of the pictures when they were little, and it's fun to look back on.
I feel like that's one of the most critical parts. I can't tell you, like, I watch go watch the videos, but I'm also just really looking at those pictures. And I feel like somehow I'm thinking about cruising too, because, I love cruising, and it's a fantastic experience for everyone in the family. Having those pictures to look back on, you're really able to remember it. Because when you're there in that moment, whether it's at World or cruising or wherever you are, you just tend to just think of the next step. You're always thinking ahead. You're not really in that moment as often as you'd like to be. And so those pictures are really going to save you quite a bit. Now, I know that for a while there were some PhotoPass questions, whether or not everyone had Memory Maker in your party. I think, Shelley, did you always have Memory Maker? Kristi, you didn't always have? We
always get it. We always get it, but now with passes, we have it. Obviously,
you do have it.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, you talked about PhotoPass. Is it worth it for the upgrade? Because now it's no longer included with the highest tier annual pass, which is for those who are out of state. That $100 upgrade for PhotoPass and Memory Maker, is it worth it to you and for those memories?
Yes, and think about it. When you go into the photo places at all the parks, the 5x7 picture is like $20.
Yeah.
So for example, if you have 50 pictures on your little card and you want all of them, it's worth it to pay that upgrade and have them for 30 days or 2 months or however long it is to have them. Now for us, it was a no-brainer. We got it all the time, and especially when we were able to get our annual passes, it was a no-brainer. You just want them.
I think you're not alone there. Kristi, do you have a favorite type of shot? Do you like the regular photo, the magic shot, or the video photos?
Oh, I like the magic shot.
Okay.
I like them all, but yeah, I do like the magic shots.
Yeah. I feel like you're able to really kind of capture the magic in a way you couldn't have otherwise done it. Like
Yeah,
you can have your iPhone all day long or a professional camera all day long, but you can't put Tinkerbell in your hand as perfectly as they do unless you got a little bit more experience with Photoshop and all that.
Right.
So there's a lot to be said.
Those are the best. I wish they would have a lot more choices on the magic shots, but I feel they're doing a little bit better on getting a lot more of them, but hopefully they'll have a few more.
I'll have to send this new super zoom they brought to Epcot. They just brought it out, and I took it the other day, where you actually take a picture in front of Spaceship Earth and it zooms out and you can see all of Spaceship Earth.
That's awesome.
It's a really cool shot.
That is awesome. So we did do the Magic Kingdom one.
You did? In the Hubgrass?
Magic Kingdom, we did the Hubgrass one. So hopefully they'll get those at the other parks, because I can only imagine where they would do it at Hollywood Studios. I mean, we've done the Galaxy's Edge one, but hopefully they'll do one. They would be cool if they just did one, on Hollywood Boulevard, maybe.
That would be perfect. Actually, I'm thinking about that right now. What if they did it? Your back is the Tower of Terror, and they put a camera like on one of those, those buildings above the shops, like way down there. Like, just look at that, And that would be incredible, because they told me that they were doing one in every park. So
because you get the full effect of Hollywood Boulevard with
Right.
all of the stores and everything. So it would be really cool.
do you think they count the Star Wars one? Because they have the Star Wars one that zooms out. That probably is the one they're counting.
Probably.
I feel Galaxy's Edge is its own separate entity at Hollywood Studios.
You're not alone. You are not alone there. 100%.
Or I would love one in Toy Story Land. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yes, it would. I mean, I'm telling you, they need more of the super zooms. They need more of the 360 shots. They've been pulling out more of those. Those are. Have you tried those?
We did the one at Epcot
Mm-hmm.
in front of Spaceship Earth. We did that one during the 50th when we were there.
Oh my
and that
gosh,
was cool.
it's awesome. It's so fantastic. Now,
Yeah.
with Festival of the Arts coming around, is this a favorite amongst the family?
I've never
I'm
been.
excited.
Oh, you've never. That's right. You've never been. Oh my gosh. All right. What are you looking forward to most?
I would love to be able to go, but this year is not going to work out where I can
Oh,
go.
no.
But
Oh my
Kristi
gosh.
will be there, so she'll be able to
Kristi.
experience it.
Hopefully, since I'll be cruising next month, hopefully the end of that we will be going. So yes, we'll be there for a day. So I am super excited.
I am excited for you.
It's
Now,
been a long time since I've been, so it's long overdue.
it's starting to become one of my all-time favorite festivals at Epcot. I'm not kidding. Like it was Food and Wine, and now it's like evolving. Flower and Garden still might be the top. But then it's like, I feel like Festival of the Arts is like moving up. It's above Festival of the Holidays, and it's like moving a little bit closer to Food and Wine a little bit. This year might be the determining factor.
Yeah,
So,
I just want to see all of the chalk work
Oh,
that they do
yes.
on the sidewalks to make it, it looks. The pictures, I'm sure, don't do it justice to what it looks like in person. But that they had one of, I think, Mary Poppins penguins. I think they had that last year, and it
Oh,
looked
that's
really, really cool and everything. So
I
that
love
would
the
be
bridge
fun.
one where it looks like you're walking over that big gap. That's
I saw the
awesome.
pictures on that one too. It just that's what I would want to see. And of course, I love the artwork anyway. But yeah,
And it's
Flower
so
and
mu-
Garden is my favorite.
It is your favorite, Kristi, or is that your favorite too?
I do like it. The food is phenomenal at Flower and Garden.
Yeah.
So
Which
yeah.
is, I mean, that's the shocker. Like, this is becoming the reality where the food is better at Flower and Garden or Festival of the Arts than at Food and Wine Festival. Like, what
Agreed.
happens? Come on.
Yeah,
now.
we went to the Food and Wine when we were there in November, and I don't think I really got anything because nothing just appealed to me. But for the Flower and Garden, when we went in March for my birthday last year, oh my goodness, we were eating just about everything. It was all so good.
It's amazing. I don't know why. Maybe we have different palates than those, super foodies. Maybe we were different. I don't know.
Yeah.
At Festival of the Holidays, I felt like it was the same thing. It was like, it's only okay. I haven't found anything unbelievable. Actually, the salmon from the Hawaiian booth, that was pretty good. But that was like one of the last things I tried. So it was like, oh, I missed it. But yeah,
And I
no,
love the topiaries too. I really love the topiaries.
Oh yes, absolutely love. That's probably one of the best parts. Just walking around. It's nice weather out. You're seeing all these. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. Now we're thinking about the festivals. Is there a particular one that you think is best for the entire family? And this I think is a big deal because a lot of people question this. Since the implementation of more alcohol at Disney, that's been a big question mark of are certain festivals best for just the adults, or are certain festivals best for the entire family? Kristi, I'm going to send that one to you first.
I think the Flower and Garden definitely for the kids, just because of all the topiaries and how cool they are, and that's not something, unfortunately, that they have all year round.
Yeah.
So I would definitely choose that first. I would keep the Food and Wine to the adults, and we have said all the time, I wish that it was a ticketed event, because we've been, when people they've been a little happy with the drinks.
Yep.
So I just think that would be more ideal for adults, and I think they would probably have more come do that anyway. But yes, the Flower and Garden definitely, I think, for kids, and I think they would just like that more, definitely.
Shelley, what do you think?
I think the Flower and Garden. Now the Festival of the Arts, like I said, I've never been there, but I would think the kids probably would like the chalk drawings
Right.
and stuff. That would probably be cool. But I really think the Flower and Garden would be better for the kids. The Food and Wine, it gets too much for me sometimes to be there, but I really think the Flower and Garden, because I'm sure the kids like to see all the topiaries, Dopey and Peter Pan and Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy, so I really think the Flower and Garden works better for a family.
Fully agree. And I agree with what you're saying too, Kristi, in terms of the, a little bit too much. Like there should be a point where, there's a kind of a difference maker in terms of how much we're enjoying it. There's no problem with everybody, doing what they have to do, but sometimes it does get up to a point where it's not as fun for everyone. And I think Disney's got to think about who their audience is and what they're looking for. It's not just, going to spring break on the beach is a different mentality than going to Food and Wine Festival, at least in my eyes. So I think we have to think that one through. But and
Food and Wine is always, it's so busy. And
weekends,
can be a little bit crazy. So that can kind of, be intimidating for kids when you're trying to walk, like say go to Frozen. Mm-hmm. That's the most popular there. It can probably be a little bit much for kids trying to walk through the crowds and everything. And then some people kind of don't pay attention to where they walk sometimes. so
much to see.
A lot to see, but yeah, I think the Flower and Garden is the better for the families if anybody's thinking about taking their family to a festival.
Now, I fully agree. Flower and Garden for sure. Now, this actually brings up another thought. As you're thinking about going to Disney, things happen. Let's pretend it's just something, some drink spilled on you, and nobody's fault. It just happens. My question is, I've been there too. My question is, how do you come back from this? This becomes the highlight of your day. In a way, even though you don't want it to, you would prefer that the highlight of your day be all the fun Disney things that you're doing. But instead, it has kind of transformed, at least in your mind, to be, oh, this drink spilled on me. And so the rest of the vacation was, oh, remember this drink spilled on me. So you were there with a family. How do you change that mentality? How do you make that magic kind of say, oh, let's just set that aside, think about it later, and move forward? Do you go on a ride? Do you go on do an experience? Do you do something that kind of triggers another core memory? What do you think?
Yeah, I would think you would, if the kids or whoever starts talking about it, you kind of try to shift the gears and go, okay, well, here's a few rides. Which one would you guys want to do? Whether it's a Small World, whether it's Haunted Mansion, which is my favorite, or even the riverboat. Maybe let's go to the riverboat and see the crowds from a distance. And usually you can get their minds off everything and then switch gears to or get on the Haunted Mansion and look for the hidden Mickeys. Mm-hmm. Or where's the camera when they take the picture? That was a fun one because the kids never figure out where the camera was.
That's so
when you take the picture. And so just do something like that to get their minds, because that happens to all of us. It happened to me in November. I fell. So, it happens to all of us. You just kind of have to make the best of it, pick your feet back up and just switch gears and try to go find Mickey and Goofy somewhere.
I love it. No, and I had never thought of that game. That's a great game. You say to yourself, where's the camera? Try and find the camera. And then their mind is completely taken off it. So I love that. Now, in terms of the virtual queue system, in terms of waking up at 7 a.m, we're going to use Remy as an example. Of course, I'm going to bring this up.
Yeah.
We're using Remy as an example. You're there with the whole family. Everybody's going to have a good time together. In your eyes, does the virtual queue system help in the family situation or make it a little bit more challenging? Again, we're thinking about standing in a virtual line, so it's not going to be as long as if you were standing for really 3 hours versus, going and getting the virtual queue. What do you think?
I think the virtual
if
queue.
You have small kids that don't have the patience for the lines, the virtual queue is the way to go.
Okay.
Because when you have Rise of the Resistance, that's a 220-minute standby line.
Yep.
No adult sometimes is going to want to stand in that.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think the virtual queues work, and we've done the virtual queues. We did them for Rise whenever, they had it for Rise, and we did it for Remy too. We just were never able to ride it. So I do think if you have small kids or any kids, that the virtual queue is probably the way to go if you can get it. And that's the trick. Set your alarm 5 minutes early so you can be on the app and then just keep refreshing. And make sure you're linked. Make sure all you're linked together. Family, friends, whatever, that is the key. Make sure you're all linked together in the app and then cross your fingers.
Great. It shouldn't be a cross your fingers thing. That's the thing. Because what if it's a kid's dream to go on Remy and it's like you woke up 1 minute late and it's like you cannot go at all that day? I don't know.
I know.
Does it work? I don't know. Maybe.
And then sometimes you can get lucky and the standby lines are 30 minutes.
That's true.
Just keep checking and keep refreshing, and sometimes you get lucky.
But I understand not wanting to stand for 220 minutes. And that brings us to a big topic, which I have a feeling will lead to larger discussions. Genie Plus and Lightning Lane has been taking us all by storm, right? There's a lot of split opinions on this. A lot say that, hey, look, this is working. right? You can pay money and you cannot wait in the lines. And for some, it works. You can pay even more money, you can go in Lightning Lane, right? And that works for some. For others, they've said that this is really slowing down the standby queue because they send, this is not an exact number, but like one standby for like 10 Lightning Lane, it's something like that. I don't know the exact number, but it's high, right? So it's a lot of people going Lightning Lane or Genie rather than standby line, making the standby line so much longer. Does this help with the family experience? Does this, make it more fun, even though it costs more? And I 100% expect there'll be some on both sides. Go ahead, please.
It's kind of a 50-50 question. It depends. If you don't go to Disney very often and you go like maybe once every 2 or 3 years, then yes, it is worth it. The kids want to ride certain rides or you want to ride certain rides. So yes, it's worth paying the money. For people like Kristi and me, no.
Because you go so often. So
we go so often and it's not worth paying an extra $10 or $15 just to ride. Well, especially for me, because I am not a thrill rider. So I'm probably not the one to ask on this one. But even like Remy and Roz or any of those, I don't even think I would still pay the extra to do that because you're there all the time. You can do it whenever you want to. But I do think it's good for the ones that don't get to go very often because it can hopefully guarantee that they can get the rides that they want to do.
Okay, that's a great perspective. Kristi, you agree? What do you think?
I know I do agree. I have a really, really good friend that is my age, never been to Disney World ever, and she's been bugging me to take her. So I will take her probably in the next 2 or 3 years. And I would definitely do that for her just because who knows when she would go back again,
right.
And I would want her to have that experience. I would want her experience to be a good one, not of standing in line. So yes, but for me and Shelley, no, we would not do it at all.
And I think you're probably in the same group as everybody else. I think a lot of people feel the same way. Like if you're there all the time, there's really no point. But if you're not there all the time, it's going to help you a lot. Another question comes down to the actual cost of it. And the fact it's not just the money part the money is going to change for sure, whether it's more or less, we'll see in the future, but the cost in time. So the amount of time you are on your phone during the entire day and continuing to go back to the app. And let's pretend, Kristi, let's take your example. You're there with your friend who's never been before. If you weren't there with her, you have to assume that they'd be kind of lost. They'd be like, wait, I'm supposed to click a button and through an app, like, you know what I mean? So my question is it really helping in that way? Like, couldn't it be done a little bit differently that would make it easier for those who, I've walked into the park and there have been people standing at the gate who said, what do you mean reservation? Reservation what? You know what I mean? It's been several years, but we still have that. What's the solution?
You shouldn't be so, everybody is so dependent on their phone outside of vacation. The last thing you want to do is be dependent on it when you're on vacation, let alone at Disney, other than taking pictures. That's the only reason you should be on your phone.
Thank you. Perfect. Love it.
Yeah, it's and I did try to work on this in November when we were there because you just with Disney moving everything to the app, you don't want to have to get on there and go, okay, where am I going to be in 10 minutes? Where am I supposed to be in 30 minutes? For the dinner reservations and lunch reservations, that's all different. Because you want to make sure that you can check in or do whatever you need to do. But for anything else, you're at Disney. The last thing you want to do is look at a screen. You want to see the castle in front of you and not through a lens. And we've seen so many people that do this that it just, I don't know. You just want to be able to soak in the time at Disney and not have to worry about being on your phone for this, unless it's for pictures. And that's the main thing, just to get it out to take pictures. Other than that, just put it in your backpack, put it in your pocket, whatever, and just take time to really realize where you're there, especially with kids. If you could see Disney through the kids' eyes, the adults need to try to do that too.
Yeah, 100%. I fully agree. And actually, this brings another thought to my mind. If we're thinking about the fact that, let's pretend for a minute, cell phones have been around for 15 years, good cell phones. They've been around for 15 years. We all experienced and really grew up with Disney in a different time period where this was not part of the experience at all. You ran for paper fast passes when I was going, right? And that was great. I loved it. It was fun stuff. Does this change the experience for families now? And is there, as putting the phone down is clearly the solution, but if you have to use it so much throughout your day, what's the follow-up? How, if you're going to pay for Genie Plus and Lightning Lane, you have no choice. You have to be on it. So is it just limiting your time? Is it just trying to be like proactive and, you know, staying ahead of it? Is it, you know, taking the phones away from everyone except for one person who can control themselves? What's the solution here so that those experiences, the ones that we all remember and we love about going to this place, are still there in this generation? Otherwise, I'm afraid that this generation is going to lose the fact that, look, that's a castle. That's really there. There's depth perception and those small details that we all love.
I think in a way it's already there. Because when you go and look, you see teenagers, even people Dylan's age, on a phone or something, just playing a game. And I'm going, why are you playing a game when you're at the Magic Kingdom?
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't have kids. My cousins, I feel like I've adopted their kids, but they don't even let their kids on the phone. Their kids don't even have a phone. And it's like, when you're at the Magic Kingdom, the last thing I would think you would want to do is have your kid on a phone when they can see Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy. Take the time to soak it up, like I said. And there's hard to know what a solution is. I mean, I guess for me, I would probably maybe have one person be in charge of the app and everything, and then everybody else just, you know, maybe remind them, but not everybody have to be on the phone at the same time, because just take the time, because you don't realize how much you're on the phone until you have it in your hand all the time.
Yep. What do you think, Kristi?
I mean, you know, when we went we were fortunate to go several times when we were younger with our parents and our grandparents. And, you know, when we go now, looking at families like that and everybody's on their phone, and, you know, we didn't shoot, I'm sure mom and dad had a phone, but it was probably like the big clunker, you know, that is non-existent now. But yeah, just it takes away some of the magic if all you're doing is focused on your phone. So they need to be making memories with their families, not on the phone.
And I think this is kind of the direction that we're all kind of seeing Disney going in, not just, and I fully agree with you, but not just with, you know, the app and having to go through Genie Plus and Lightning Lane, but now we're seeing the basically augmented reality lenses coming out when you have Genie Plus. Disney is actually pushing this. It's not new. Nothing's new here. They had the Instagram walls for years now, where you have the blueberry wall and the toothpaste wall. You know, of course. Bubblegum wall, of course. And it's like, oh, these are great and that's fun. And I think the picture walls were the point where it's like, oh, that's fun. That's exciting. But now we've reached the point where you are interacting with Disney through your phone. And I really do think that this actually could be a potential hazard for Disney in the future, where they realize that the customer gets their experience from the phone. And if the customer realizes that the experience is coming from the phone and not from the location, what brings them back to the location? And Disney's a business, what brings back the money? You know what I mean? I feel like that's a really serious thing that Disney's got to consider.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you go to Disney, just take a break and just sit down and people watch.
Yep.
Your eyes will get open, because you see, and it's not just young adults, it is everybody. Go somewhere and you can see them take 20 or 30 pictures of themselves to make sure they have the right shot for Instagram, TikTok, or whatever it is.
Yes.
And, you know, it boggles my mind sometimes, because I'm going, you have Cinderella's castle here in front of you, but the only thing you're worried about is, oh, I've got to get the perfect shot so it goes on Instagram.
Yep.
And which is fine, I guess, but for me, I'll take the shot, and if it's not great, you know, so be it. It's still, you take the shot and you just enjoy yourself and then put the phone up. But it's interesting to people watch. If people haven't done it, just sit for 10 minutes by Liberty Tree Tavern or, you know, anywhere, and just people watch and see how many people take pictures on their phones.
Oh my gosh, I've done it. And it's not just the pictures, it's just walking around the parks with the thing in your hand. And it's just, I've done it.
It's like a security blanket. Yeah. Like okay, I can't put this up because this is my security blanket.
Right.
I'm going, you're walking down Main Street. Why do you have to have it in your hand?
Right. I mean, look, we're all guilty of looking at our phones too much. It's a natural thing. They're built to be done, to do that, to be addictive, 100%. But there's a point where you have to be able to let it go and enjoy the experience. My question, does this policy for you also apply for like a beach vacation or going to the mountains or going camping? Is this the same level of you need to disconnect from the phone so that you can enjoy the real place. Does this also apply to you there, Kristi?
I think that's what's so, I mean, let's face it, cruises are phenomenal, but that's one of the things that I love about going on a cruise is that you cannot use your phone. I mean, sure, you could if you wanted to spend an astronomical amount of money, but you know, I put mine on airplane mode and I do use my camera, but it's great that you can just decompress and not, oh, I got to check my social media accounts. I've got to do all this. So yeah, that's how a vacation should be.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. And that's exactly what I do on a cruise too. I go on and I get the messenger that they have on cruising. You just get like the onboard messenger, message where people are, and take pictures. That is literally it. Or check the itinerary for the day. Like that's it. That is it. I love it. And the thing that worries me a little bit is the fact that, I don't know if you've seen this, they've been kind of adding more Wi-Fi packages on board other cruise lines. I just looked. Royal Caribbean, ready for this? To get their Vroom internet package, which I'm not sure how much data you actually get, but they say pretty unlimited. It's like $15 a day.
That's crazy.
I mean, to me, it's like, why? Like,
why go on vacation if you have to make sure you have Wi-Fi?
Right. Thank you very much. And that's how I feel too. And I feel like that's going to take away from the family experience. Even if you're working on business, like you're doing your business thing, you're on there. If you're just sitting by the pool doing business, my thought is that the whole family is going to have the memory in their mind of you sitting by the pool doing business, not you in the pool playing with everybody.
Yeah.
Exactly. That you don't want the little kids to go, oh, so-and-so wasn't able to play with me because they were either on their computer or their phone so much while I was on vacation with them.
And look, I understand the importance of work. It's very important, but I think there's also a super important part of taking the break. And that's the actual, like the definition of a vacation is the taking the break from the work. And for many, it's very difficult. And I fully appreciate it. I understand it. And I wish there was another way. I wish there was like a moderation in between. But I think that, you know, with every small step you take, it's a step in the right direction, you know.
Being on vacation, you don't want to have any stress or anything. You go to relax and decompress. 100%. You don't want to have to be on your phone with work to be able to do that. 100%.
All right, now switching topics a little bit, back to the family memories and having fun together. Let's pretend you've got a 16-year-old and a 6-year-old, just as an example. They want to go in totally different directions. If you're thinking about it, do you say to the 6-year-old, we're going to go where the 16-year-old wants to go and then go where the 6-year-old wants to go? Or do you split up and the adults go in different directions with the kids? Which way do you do it?
Split up.
Does that still make for the good memories though?
It does, because everybody has their own memories. Like, for example, when we went in September, when we were there with Trey, I mean, there was like 10 of us. I think there was like 10 of us.
Yeah, for a lot.
And everybody just whoosh. And we say, okay, at 3:00, we're all meeting back at Cinderella Castle. Everybody else goes do what they want to do. And so we met up at Cinderella's Castle. We went over and rode the People Mover together. So you have to make adjustments, like we said before. The 16-year-old wants to ride the roller coasters. The 6-year-old wants to go in It's a Small World 3 or 4 times in a row, which we did. So you have to make those, and you alternate. Like Kristi would go with one of them, and then I would go with one, and then split, and go with back and forth. So the memories are still there. You just have to, like I said, you just have to adjust it and just have a meeting place every so often and meet back up and go, okay, what does everybody want to do? Go together, go separate, pair off.
And then you have together things to do later in the evening or fireworks together or whatever it is. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So is anybody, when in this scenario, hypothetical or real, is the 16-year-old or 18-year-old or whoever it is going off by themselves, or is it always two, an adult with another adult, or adult with, of course, a child has to go with an adult, but 2 adults, so they go staying together? How's that work? What makes the best memories?
We went to the Christmas party a couple years ago, and Anna came with us, and she, Shelley and I are like, oh, we gotta go to get a picture with Mickey. We gotta go to get a picture with Mickey. And she wanted to go ride stuff because the lines are obviously shorter. So we told her to go and meet us back here in an hour or so. It just, whatever makes the kids happy. I think that's what it's all about. And it's not necessarily about you in that moment. It's, making memories with them. So.
And Anna was 17 at the time. So we weren't concerned about her, going off or doing this and that. Now, we have taken Aiden and Anna with us before when they were younger, and we would just go together. Either if they wanted to pair off, Kristi would go with one and I would go with the other. So I think pretty much 16 to 17 is when, you know, they go off by themselves, but anytime else, then an adult would go with them, whether it was me or Kristi or the parents or Anne or whatever.
Yeah, no, and it's a good, I think everybody's probably got a good model with that, but at least you are doing what you want to do and making a positive memory, not just being dragged along.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest key.
You don't want the kids to feel that way. You know, it did happen to us one time. Anna was a little bit younger and she didn't kind of want to veer off to what we were going to do, but we told her, look, go do this with us, and then as soon as we get done, we'll go and do what you want to do. And then she was fine with it. So, you know, you kind of have to word it the right way and be patient, and it all work out.
Yeah, 100%. Now, actually, Kristi, you made me think of the parties that happen. Let's pretend for a moment that Mickey's Very Merry and Not So Scary come back. That we all hope it does. Oh my gosh, let's hope it does. But pretend for a moment we still have that time. Is that experience, you know, let's pretend it's a higher cost than what we're used to, but still, you know, there. Do you think it is worth it to make those memories? And do you think it's worth it for the attraction or for the things you do at, I mean, use the example, old version, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party?
It's 100% worth the money, before and after. Kristi and I were there in November for 10 days. We went to Very Merriest Hours, whatever it's called. Yeah. It was expensive. I mean, it was almost $200, but it was worth the money. We would do it again in a heartbeat. It felt like the old thing back with the parade, with the fireworks, which is better than.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I'll say it.
I love the fireworks.
It's better.
It's better than Enchantment. I'll admit it. It is.
It is, and I think that needs to be addressed. Let's get back to that. Please continue.
It depends on what you're in the mood for. For Kristi and I, it's the characters. We love the characters. That's what we loved for at the Halloween parties, at the Christmas party. We would go see the characters. But the rides, it's always fun to go on Haunted Mansion over and over and over and over again.
I love it.
But I think it's worth the money. You kind of have to weigh the options, and you can't do it all.
Right.
So you have to decide, do you want to do the characters? Do you want to watch the stage show? Or do you want to see the parade? The parade you usually can see, but you have to decide between the characters and the stage show and the rides. Which ones do you want to do, because you can't do it all in 4 hours.
And the picture opportunities. You forgot the most important part, Shelley.
Oh yeah, the pictures too. Which we didn't even get to do all those when we were there, which was fine. But yeah, I do think it's worth the money before and now. Before and now.
Kristi, do you agree?
I do, especially with these special parties. You have the special characters, like, you know, me, I'm a huge Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs fan. That's the only time you're ever going to see all the Seven Dwarfs together. And, you know, like the Halloween party has the villains out. So yeah, it's definitely worth the money.
Okay. Now you brought up Enchantment. We're kind of going off topic here. I think I speak for all of us when I say Enchantment's not quite what we all thought it would be. Happily Ever After is a far superior show, I think, for most people. Yeah. My question is, if you have a family, right, and all the kids of all ages are there, they've never seen Enchantment before, right, but they have seen Happily Ever After once or twice, would you stay to see the show? Not just for bragging rights that you said, oh, I saw Enchantment, but to actually enjoy it? That's the question. I'll go first. I'll go for you thinking about it. For me, I think it comes down to where you see the fireworks. I was there with my family in the parks recently for the holidays, had a great time. And I knew about Enchantment already. I knew that it wasn't quite the show that we were all hoping for. So instead of seeing it in front of the Cinderella Castle where everyone else was, we had our own space in Frontierland, you know, and we watched it from there. And that way we only appreciated the fireworks themselves and the music, fireworks themselves. And in that situation, it was a better show. It was truly, to me anyway, it was a better show because I was not standing in front of Cinderella Castle. And I think that's something that needs to be addressed, but I'm all ears for your thoughts.
Well, the first time I saw it, of course, was the 50th when we were there on October 1st.
Remember?
Packed in like sardines.
What a day. What a day.
What a day, exactly. And I did not care for it, honestly. But I told Kristi, you know, afterwards, I said, well, in November when we come back, we'll have to see it a couple of times. When we went back and saw it in November, we were in the hub and I liked it a whole lot more. because of the projections on the castle and just seeing the fireworks. I think at October the 1st, I tried to pay too much attention to what was projected on Main Street.
Yep.
And I didn't really enjoy what was in front of me. So by being in the hub right in front of the castle, I thought, well, yeah, this is a little bit better than what I thought. It's still no happily ever after.
Or no.
Or Wishes, because Wishes was amazing too. But I did enjoy it more, and I do feel like that everybody should see it. I don't think they should get as far back as the end of Main Street.
Okay.
I think maybe up by Casey's Corner and everything around in there, where you can see the castle projections and be in front of the castle and not just on Main Street. I think you need to see it at least one time to make your decision.
Great advice. Kris, do you agree with that one?
I do. And I mean, in my opinion, nobody does fireworks like Disney. Absolutely nobody. So definitely it's worth it for the fireworks. But I agree. I want to be where I want to do the Frontierland where you did, because I know that I've seen that before in different years ago in Fantasy of the Sky fireworks. But yeah, I would definitely take them, but not so much focus on the projections on Main Street, more so on the ones on the castle.
And I think there's a lot of predictions going around right now in terms of if this show is even going to last, because there are some who are saying that it's not going to last through the 50th because it's getting such a cold reception. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Harmonious is also getting extremely cold reception. And I think the idea there is that it was meant to be there for a long time. You see the ring and the barges, and it was just like, it was so much money was poured into the show, and most people do not like it. Some people do, and there's nothing wrong with liking a show, right? But a lot of people don't like it. And I feel like this is something that needs to be worked on. But to most families who come to Disney, who are just visiting very infrequently, they're probably not going to look at it with the level of detail that we are. And I think that that's something that Disney knows. They know it.
Yeah, and I feel like the projections during Enchantment on the castle are not as rich as they were with Happily Ever After.
Not even close.
You're in the middle of Main Street. You can't really see, is that Merida, is that Tiana? You couldn't really see who they were compared to Happily Ever After. Yep. But when you're up closer in the hub, you can pick them out a little bit more, but they're not as clear and crisp and colorful like they were for Happily Ever After. And I think that's a big drawback, because everybody was hoping with the projections on Main Street, along with the projections on the castle, they'll be able to figure out who's who. But it's really hard to see unless you're right in the hub where you can look at the castle to see really up close.
It's good advice. It's very good advice. And I think that there's a lot of opportunities there to see the show in a different way, but you're absolutely right. It feels like they took a weaker projector and just replaced it took the Happily Ever After projector, which was working perfectly. Like you could see the castle would, like at the very end, remember how it would like change colors? It would like sparkle down. I mean, you could see every sparkle. And now it looks like it was just like, let's take like a 25% of the power projector and put it on Cinderella Castle.
The music with Happily Ever After, you really
you cried.
You cried.
Tears, sobbing. Yes.
Yeah, that's
a word.
I'm
breaking up there a little bit, Shelley, but
the Christmas fireworks, totally right the opposite. You did start crying during the Christmas fireworks.
I loved them, and they're so good. They're so good, and they know how to make these shows that way. And I hope that they either change it back to Happily Ever After or bring us something else in the future.
Right. Me too.
But either way, no matter how you look at it, there are positive memories to be had. There are.
There are fireworks at Disney, so you can't beat that.
You can't. Yeah, and they are beautiful fireworks. If you just look at the fireworks themselves, they're fantastic.
Right.
I love the chandelier ones. You've seen those where it's like.
Oh, those are some of my favorites. I love
that.
And the heart-shaped ones, the heart-shaped ones.
Or the Moana ones with the heart of the ocean.
Oh, yeah, that's good too.
I still don't know how they do that. That's just so cool.
Yeah. I mean, if you're coming to Disney from the first time and you haven't seen Happily Ever After or Wishes, then Enchantment is probably going to be awesome. But for us that have been going for 20 plus years, you compare it and it just doesn't work. Just like I have not seen Harmonious. I don't know if I will see Harmonious because I love Illuminations.
I mean, Illuminations, there's just no comparison between that.
Thank you.
So it makes me not sad, but I feel very, we're very fortunate and very blessed that we have gotten to see all these amazing fireworks shows over the, ever since we were 6 years old or whatever. So yeah, for the people, that's why I think that's maybe kind of one of my hesitations about bringing my friend that's never been to Disney. She didn't grow up with Disney. We, feel like I ate, slept, and bled Disney, you know. But I feel like I know she'll love it and she'll appreciate it, but just I'm like, you need to see Happily Ever After, you needed to see Wishes, you need to see all this, but she'll still love it. But
I have no doubt. But actually, that is a very good point. It almost feels like you're taking your friend to see a Disney light, Disney mini version.
Right.
You got the full experience that we all had.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can totally understand that hesitation. Wow, I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Well, we have another set of cousins that actually won a trip a few days through his bank.
Wow.
And he was asking me about it during Christmas. He said, when's the best time to go and should we go and everything. And he's got hesitation on going because of the new fireworks, because he's heard us talk about them. So, he trusts what we have to say. And so I told him, I said, you have to make your own decisions and everything. So it really makes a difference when you haven't really been there before. I haven't been there in a while with all the changes going on and what everybody's saying on social media. Don't believe everything you see on social media.
No, not even close.
But, with everybody's opinions that they have, when everybody else sees it that's not familiar with it, they think, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't go because this is not as good as before. Maybe it still won't be as good. Don't believe what you read. Just go and enjoy it and then make your decision for yourself.
Great advice. I fully agree. And there's so many fun experiences to be had. Not trying to just be a downer here and say, oh, these aren't as good as they used to be. But it's, it's saying that, these can be improved, right? We know what Disney can do, like Illuminations, Happily Ever After. And when Wishes went away, right? A lot of us were like, what is going to take the place of Wishes? You heard Walt's voice, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was personally very worried about it. I was. But Happily Ever After, right? The first day I saw it, I was like, okay, that's a good replacement. Still hurts. Wishes going away still hurts. But that's a really good replacement right there. This time, they replaced Happily Ever After with Enchantment. It's like, no. You know what I mean? It's like a totally different feeling for me. And it's something that I'm hoping that Disney kind of picks up on as well. I kind of am confident that they will.
Right. And I don't think that between Wishes and Happily Ever After, I think everybody was feeling that way. But when they saw Happily Ever After, they were going, oh my goodness, this is amazing.
Yep.
But then you go, like you said, from Happily Ever After to Enchantment, and then it just kind of deflates you.
Right. You're going, it's like, well, that's
there's
it.
There's the story for Enchantment like you had for Happily Ever After.
Right.
So.
Or Illuminations, just going to mention that.
Illuminations.
Favorite fireworks show. Some people don't like it. Some people do. That's okay.
I loved it. I
loved it.
Loved
That's
it.
the song got me every time. Goosebumps every time.
Yep, exactly. You cried during it. It was awesome.
But see, positive memories.
Exactly. You don't forget the fireworks at Disney, especially when they're that good.
And some fun thing that I do, play the music. Just like whenever you're like feeling it, play the music. It'll bring back that memory, which is amazing.
Right.
It really is.
Very true.
Gotta tell you, Shelley, Kristi, this has been a fantastic discussion, all about Disney, all about family fun, things that will be improved, I'm sure in the future, things that we're hoping will be better, and things that we love at the place where dreams come true. Thank you both so much. I cannot wait to spend more time with you in the parks. We'll spend time together doing fun things, enjoying all the things that we like to do. A huge shout out to all my patrons for making all this possible. It means a tremendous amount. Love sharing those memories with you, both at Disney and all over. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of it. And until next time, have a magical day. We'll see you real soon. Bye, everybody.